Thank you for tuning into my channel. Today, I want to talk about coming out of your comfort zone. A lot of us have a few fears that maybe we had them as a child and we got over those fears, and sometimes maybe they carried on into our adulthood. When I was a child, I suffered with a speech impediment. There were a lot of words I would mispronounce, and I was teased, and I also was punished. My stepfather noticed that there were just a lot of words I mispronounced, and that bothered him. But the way he thought would help me did not help me because he would punish me. It was never a spanking, but it was, he would either make me do sit ups or push ups or stand in the corner. And that did not help at all because what it did was make me quiet. I was silent because I didn't want to be teased, nor did I want to be punished. So, in talking about this, I realized that that's what got me to writing. I would just get a pen and paper and I would just write everything down. And at first, I was doing it to get back at my siblings because they were the ones that mostly teased me whenever I mispronounced a word. So I would write it down and take my piece of paper and put it up in their face and make them read what I had to say. But then I became good at it. I started liking writing everything down. I remember my mom, she would ask us, what did we want for our birthday? And I would say, a nice pen and a nice notebook. And that's what I would get for my birthday. And I would journal everything. I would show it to one of my teachers as I got in the fourth or fifth grade. And this teacher built my confidence because she said to me, she said, "You're a good writer." And that stuck with me. So I started writing. And until to this day, I still sit. I could be lying in my bed and I have a notebook and a pen close by because I like to write everything down. So with me having that fear as a child of speaking, it carried on into my adulthood. So, me starting a business, it's called Lisa Joy Books. I have 21 children's books out. So, again, I like to be behind the scene. I just want to sell them on the internet. I don't want to go into schools and read to the kids. I've been asked to talk about my business at some events, and I just won't do it because of that fear that I may mispronounce a word. Well, I was talking to several people about this, and first they said they don't hear it. And I said, well, when I'm talking to you, I feel comfortable. It's just a one on one conversation, and I'm not worried about mispronouncing a word. But if I get in front of a crowd, I still have that fear. I just can't do it. So, part of why I'm here on YouTube is that I can talk about these things because I'm behind the scenes and I wanted to do this in hopes that it would build me up to start growing my business and expanding my business to where I am going into the schools and reading to the kids and going to these events and talking about myself and my business. So that's why I want to speak about coming out of your comfort zone because I got so comfortable over the years with just writing and sharing stuff on all of these social media platforms. It made it easier for me because I didn't have to go somewhere and read a poem or read a story or talk about my life. I could just do it on here. But then I started getting the emails and the calls from different groups, organizations, nonprofits, wanting me to join these events, and I was turning them down. And I did an event a couple weeks ago, and I had to pray before I came out. I peeked out because they had us in the back, and I peeked out and I saw that they had like over 1,000 people in that room. And I said, "Oh, I wish I didn't peek out. Now I'm really nervous." But I just started praying and I started thinking, if you want to grow your brand, you want to get out here and you want them to see the face behind this brand. And people like to hear your story. So I'm going to go out there and I'm going to share my story and I'm going to be bold with it. If I mispronounce a word, so what? I'll just laugh at myself like I used to do. Apologize and keep it moving. After I prayed and they called my name, I froze. I started not to go out there. Got myself together after a small pep talk, and I went out there and I did good. I did good. So it did build my confidence and let me know that get outside of your comfort zone. There are things that you're going to have to do where you're not going to always be behind the scenes. If you mispronounce a word or fumble in a sentence, just correct it or, let people know, can't say that word, and I'll keep it moving. So, a lot of my friends who know me, when I talk to them about this, they always encourage me and say, I mispronounce words as well. Or I had a girl tell me just today that your voice is soothing. We're so critical of ourselves because that's one thing I didn't like. I didn't like my voice. I paid my cousin to do a video for me because I didn't want my own voice on the video. But I'm stepping outside that comfort zone, guys, because once you do that, it not only builds your confidence, but it lets you know that don't put limitations on yourself. Because I can't pronounce a few words, why am I limiting myself? Why am I turning down opportunities? Opportunities that can advance me in my business. Why am I just settling for selling these books on the internet? Why don't I go out there and engage with the children? I don't know if they're going to come on my YouTube or my other social media platforms and look at what I'm doing or read any of my books. I need to be out there. I need to be engaging with them. I need to also talk to them and find out what is it that you like to read? What else can I add to my collection of books? So I'm getting out of being comfortable behind the scene, and there's a couple things that are coming up that will probably be big for my business. I'm praying about these things. And I know that I'll do well when I get out there and share my story. I love engaging with people, but not a crowd. If I have a one on one or maybe a few people in the room, I'm very good at that. But when it's an audience and they're quiet and they're listening to me, I never did well with that. Here are a lot of speakers, people who do this for a living, say that that's how they started out. And once you do it a few times, they say you get better. And I believe that because after that first speaking engagement, I'm so ready to do another one. So the next one will be better and the one after that will be better. But the thing is, not to just get better at speaking in front of people, but to get your story out. People like to know who's behind the scenes, who's behind this pen and paper. What made her write these stories? What made her during COVID in 2020 is when I started writing these children's books. And to date, I have 22 and I'm working on my 23rd book. They want to know the story behind that. How were you able to write 22 books in a 3-year span? So I can write and share that with you guys on all of these social media platforms, but they want to see you. And I saw that when I went to this event, is that they wanted to see the author. They were so impressed at my table that they kept saying, "You wrote all of these?" And I'm not saying like there's not a lot of children's book authors that have plenty of books out there. But to be someone unnamed in the community that writes, they were impressed by that. So just sharing how I'm going to grow my business. And if somebody's listening to this and you're afraid and something's holding you back from not just growing your business, but just growing, period, step out of that comfort zone. That could be a great thing. I'm not going to limit myself anymore. Since the event, I've been jotting down things that I want to do that's going to be outside of being behind this computer at night, writing down all the thoughts that are in my head. I'm going to be out there. I'm going to start doing more speaking engagements. And I just want to say to you that if we put a limit on what we can do, that's all we're going to do. We're not going to go overboard. We get so content with that, putting ourselves in that small box, and we feel so comfortable inside that box that we don't want to step outside of it. It's a fear when you step outside that box. But overcoming that fear, because you no longer have that obstacle in front of you, that box is removed. And overcoming that, it sort of like frees you. I felt free. Like, oh my God, now I can dream bigger. I can think bigger. I can write bigger. All of these thoughts were coming in my mind. And I'm so ready for what God has next for me because I'm not putting limitations on myself. I'm asking Him, what's next? I'm so excited about it. So, thanks for listening to me talk about coming out of my comfort zone. And you want to share maybe something small about how you overcame coming out of that box that you put yourself in for years? I'd love to hear it. Share or like the page because I'll be getting on here a lot more. I'm starting to speak better. I used to always talk really slow because I was always careful with my words because there were quite a few words that I could not pronounce. And I would fumble on my sentences because you're constantly thinking, oh my God, I have to say that word. What other word can I use? Now, we all know that in the English language, one word could mean so many things, and there's so many words for, you could be talking about one certain thing, but you can use so many different words for it. So I had to master using different words that I could pronounce or that I could pronounce better. And I mastered that. So, but you're still constantly thinking, oh my God, I still may mispronounce that word. And I'm not doing that anymore. It is what it is. I'm on this video, and someone, because I said I had a speech impediment, you probably caught something that I mispronounced, but I'm not worried about it anymore. I used to think it made me look stupid, that people were going to think I was dumb because I couldn't pronounce that word. I no longer think that. I no longer care about that because I know that I'm not stupid. So coming out of that box has really freed me. My horizons are much bigger than I could ever think they could be now. So I want you to know that whatever it is that has you in that box, come out of it. Come out of it and free yourself from those limitations that you have put in your life for so long. I hope you all have a blessed day.